Hello and welcome to the Reference Point Podcast. I am your host, Paolo, and today I am joined by my two co-host supremes, Matthew and Anthony.
Hey, that's us.
Hey, that's me.
Yep.
So today we are going to be talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Ooh, indeed, because it was kind of a scary MCU movie.
Oh, was it?
It was very spooky. If I was 8 years old, I'd probably cry and go home.
Yeah.
Some 8-year-olds apparently didn't like the movie at all, so I could kind of see why.
8-year-olds times like what, 10?
8-year-olds, dude. 8-year-olds.
8-year-olds, dude.
I was thinking that too. Oh my god.
Anyway, so before we begin, we just want to give a special thank you to Cult MTL.
That's right. So Cult MTL is a local magazine in Montreal who every year does a best of vote. So people could cast their votes for what they feel is the best, really anything, best restaurant, best podcast. And in this instance, guys, we got number 1.
Wow.
So big thank you first off to like the people who voted, our fans, our friends, everyone. Like, we really appreciate this. Like, it's truly a big honor, and it really gives us that motivation and really spirit to really push on forward and really give you guys the best we can. And honestly, we've got huge plans coming up in the summer, and this gives us that sort of motivation to do it. And also just thank you, Cult MTL, for giving us this spot, because like it's
thank
guys,
you. Pick up your physical copies if you can, or if you could read it digitally anyway.
Just
it's
follow
a really
them
cool
on
book.
social media for sure.
Everyone who voted for us, I love you guys.
Thank you so much.
I love each and every single one of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Democracy prevailed.
So so Doctor Strange.
So give us a rundown of like what we're going to talk about for Doctor Strange.
So we're gonna keep this simple.
Okay.
So we're gonna go non-spoiler thoughts. Obviously.
Of course.
And then we're gonna dive into the spoilers. I'm not gonna say what because I
What
almost made that.
specific spoilers are we diving into?
Yeah.
Well,
Like what?
first off, we just want to avoid that, and then we're gonna just wrap up the episode. Keep it nice and simple, clean.
Maybe
Okay.
our hopes for the future might come up. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with this ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's okay. I'm going to shut up now.
All right, so
Take it away, Paolo. What's up?
non-spoiler thoughts. What do we
Non-spoiler?
think?
I loved it. I loved it.
I really enjoyed it.
I liked it.
Okay, so here we
I
are.
love Sam Raimi movies, and to me, this was a Sam Raimi movie.
It was 100%
Mhm.
through and through, and I think he was the real MVP of this film.
There's a lot of the sort of Raimi-isms, which I genuinely enjoyed. Not really a spoiler, I'll just say it. There's a lot of Evil Dead in this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
There's more Evil Dead than there is Spider-Man 2, to say the least.
So
Yes.
I will say though, like when watching it, it did actually make me want to watch Evil Dead more.
Yeah.
Like when I rewatch, it's like I kind of want to go home and watch Evil Dead instead of like Doctor Strange or whatever.
No.
I
Because
didn't feel that way.
I do like I like Evil Dead more than this.
No,
than
no
Marvel.
chance.
No, just in general, like my own preferences. I just really like Evil Dead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie, but I think there are some real glaring issues that I have with it, some creative decisions that I really don't agree with.
Mhm.
And I think if you're a fan of, let's say, WandaVision specifically,
This might disappoint you a little.
it might really disappoint you, or you might not care and might love the film. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen people really walk out of the movie and absolutely love it, and others are very, very disappointed by this movie. And I think that's also reflected in the B+ cinema score, which is like the third time ever a Marvel film got in the Bs.
We could honestly though kind of address that right at the beginning, because there's something really sort of specific we should talk about with that sort of thing.
Look, for me, I wasn't disappointed. I went into the movie with tempered expectations. I was scared that this movie was going to be cameo fest, and that, look, we're seeing everyone again. We're going to see this guy. Oh, I know that guy. I love that guy. I'm so happy to see him again. We're going to see Blorko and Glupshido and, and
Skippy McDippy.
Skippy McDippy,
I'm not familiar with these characters. Please elaborate.
Are they also Moon Knight characters?
Yes, they are. But all these, I'm happy that in the end what we got was a story about Strange and Wanda, like these characters and who they are. Like, especially for Strange, we got like a real arc for him, which I was scared was gonna get overshadowed.
Right.
We got an arc, and I love
Yeah,
that.
it's there. I think it is, and that some people might disagree with me. And hey, look, you know what? If you love Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, if you hate the movie, opinions are just opinions at the end of the day. We're just going to share our own. And please also share your own in the comment section.
Yeah.
But really, I felt like the application of character arcs and just the plot in general felt a little bit sloppy at times. And we know that there was a very troubled production history with this film. And I'm very curious to see what the original cut looked like. For one, this movie is only 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone out there who've seen plenty of films throughout their lives, it's like, well, 2 hours and 7 minutes isn't exactly a short movie.
All of Raimi's movies are about that.
Or around that length. Well, Spider-Man 3 I think is a tad longer, but
I don't remember.
2 hours and 7 minutes, it's no slouch either, and I understand that. But for a film that is as grand as this one,
with Skippy McDippy.
It was Skippy McDippy. You would expect a longer runtime from this one, and I felt like the 2 hours and 7 minutes, while it did do it some favors in terms of pacing, the film is very, very fast paced.
It's paced a little bit like Infinity War, where it's like non-stop. Okay, we're in this, going. It takes a couple breaks, and that's it. Otherwise, it's always non-stop.
Right.
That's what she said.
Michael, please.
There he is.
Please.
Come on.
But the thing with Infinity War is that it's also a much longer film, and while it does
20
keep
minutes.
and while it does keep that 20 minutes is quite substantial, and while it does keep that pace up constantly throughout Infinity War, they really put everything in that film that needed to be in that film. When I watch Multiverse of Madness, I could kind of sit back and go, yeah, I had a great time, but there are certain things that I really wish they expanded on more, that I think fans were deserving of seeing, and they simply omitted them, and I could predict for time reasons. So, yeah.
Like, I was going to say, in terms of runtime, I was fine with it. I agree. Like, it didn't bother me in that it was a bit shorter than I expected. But I agree that maybe it could have used a bit more development in some parts, but the runtime wasn't something I came out of there and said, that's too short, like I did for Venom 2. That I came out of there and like the movie was like 20 minutes long.
And well, that's a very unfair
it
comparison.
didn't bother me enough to like detract from the film.
Totally, and
that's just me.
I could totally respect that 100%.
I just really liked it. First act was fun. Second act was cool, except it had like something that I kind of questioned. And then a third act was really cool. And overall, just like it's oozing with Raimi's style, but it also kind of left me wanting to watch something that's more Sam Raimi than this movie.
Okay.
I would say like out of all the Marvel Studios films, this is the one that like you really see the most style from a director. Almost,
this one's very much.
Oh my God.
It's weird how it's kind of formulaic, but it's also not.
It's
like in this
formulaic.
It's in
still
this
a little
weird
bit, but
it's in this weird sort of gray zone of just like, or should I say negative zone, of just
dark dimension zone. Yeah.
Of just like, it's not MCU enough, but it is, and that's I think a strength of the movie.
It's Raimi working within the Marvel formula, but the Marvel formula is not overtaking the Raimi as a director, like his style.
Well, I have no idea how much influence Raimi as a filmmaker had on the way the film itself really looked. I'm assuming.
I mean, it had color.
That's what I'm leading to. I feel like even though Avengers Endgame is really like my favorite comic book film of all time, the first 40 minutes of that film looking very desaturated, very kind of dull and depressing, I think works for that the theme of that film.
But then when you get to 2012 Avengers,
it's like why does it still really look this way? And you kind of you miss and you long for that color, that pop in a comic book film, and this movie totally has it. It is so visually dynamic, not just through color, like we said, but also through camera movement.
And even just editing in general at points, some of the montages that I don't want to spoil for people who haven't seen it.
Like this is full tilt Raimi, and honestly, even the way the movie's edited, like you said, there's a very clever, often very, very clever use of fades. Let me just put that in there. The editing
reminded me of the old Spider-Man movies.
It really did, and honestly, and speaking of which, Anthony and I saw the movie together both times. We saw the movie twice. Paolo couldn't make it to our screening, but the first night we saw it on the Thursday opening night, IMAX 2D, and then we saw it IMAX 3D in the next day on the Friday night. And I know these two really disagree with me about 3D.
No. Look. I know where you're going. I'm just gonna say this because I want you to have like a really good uninterrupted thing.
Go for it.
As a 3D spectacle, it looked great. I just don't like 3D.
But that's exactly my point too. I'm never gonna tell you 3D looks good because I hate 3D.
I get it.
I always want a 2D movie. I don't want to watch anything in 3D. The 3D looked good though, but I didn't like it.
If you enjoy 3D, watch it in 3D,
Yeah.
100%. If you don't, just don't watch it in
It's
3D.
not going to change your mind if you don't like 3D.
Yeah,
that's
but,
for sure.
but if you're ever like sometimes on the fence like I am, and you're like, hey, is this movie maybe worth seeing in 3D? Or the ticket price for 2D and 3D was the same. So sometimes I know back in the day you
it
used
was
to
like
get
an extra $6 or something.
No, it wasn't that much, but there was
$4.
there was
I
a
don't
surcharge for 3D. In this case, if you're presented with both tickets being the same
$200
price,
difference.
same price,
knows his prices. You know how he is with
oh my
money.
God.
That's true.
I
Very
think
frugal.
I think
Yes, that's the word.
that 3D might really be worth a shot because the depth in this film, was in the trailer, Gargantos. There's that Gargantos sequence,
Oh,
right?
that's not Gargantos. That's the villain from Conan the Barbarian. Oh, spoilers. Sorry, but this movie canonizes Conan the Barbarian, the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
He's lying. He didn't spoil anything. It's not Shumagorath, it's Gargantos, but anyone who read a comic knows it's basically Shumagorath, but the rights are in the air. So
But yeah, it canonized Conan the Barbarian.
maybe.
Oh my God, I was about to say it again. Canonized Conan.
Anyway, the Gargantos fight
It was cool. It was cool.
looks
Yeah.
especially amazing in 3D. This is really, really well done 3D, and they created the film with 3D in mind. So I think
this is so funny, but I missed the entire fight because I went to go buy my friend popcorn. So I saw it in 2D. I didn't see it in 3D.
Are you serious?
I missed the entire thing. Yeah. So you saying this is so funny? Actually.
Oh man.
Who'd you get the popcorn for?
He knows who he is.
Anyway,
I swear to God, if it's Peter, I'm gonna lose it.
No, it wasn't. He
anyway,
knows who he
and the way, like I said, the fades were utilized were especially cool in 3D. So, plus you get the trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water.
is. Missed that too.
You missed that too, in 3D. So
Oh, the only thing that was hype for me was the
Anyway.
Jurassic World trailer.
yeah, that was good too.
Holy
That
shit.
looked
I was
in
like,
IMAX 2D.
Yeah. So, regardless, I think the main takeaway is that
IMAX is beautiful though. Like the expanded aspect ratio looked amazing. Oh, I love that. I love
think
watching IMAX.
any Marvel film or any film that is shot with IMAX cameras or is specifically formatted for IMAX,
I'll
please
watch
go
in
see it in
IMAX.
IMAX.
yeah.
Except
I agree with
Venom
that.
2.
Wasn't actually
Morbius.
wasn't specially formatted, so
Well,
perfect.
No, IMAX really does enhance a viewing experience because of like the sort of size of the screen and just you get more picture too.
Yeah,
For sure, for
there's
sure.
no cropping going on.
Yeah.
No letterboxing. Anyway, so I think
Spoilers?
those are some pretty good non-spoiler thoughts.
Let's go with the spoilers.
Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
So if you didn't
Spoiler
see the
warning.
movie, definitely gonna want to skip that, then come back, watch this, see why we're wrong or why we're right.
there
the
is
whole
no
thing.
right or wrong.
No,
there is
there
no
is.
right or
There's
wrong.
only Sinister and Supreme.
So spoilers. I think the big takeaway, the big point of contention for most people, especially WandaVision fans, is Wanda's characterization in this film. And in the marketing, they were, I don't even want to say cleverly, but trying as best as they can to...
Yeah, like the studio tells reviewers, yeah, don't spoil who the villain is in your non-spoiler review.
yeah.
And then it's like, it's very obviously Wanda. Oh, it's Wanda.
Wanda's the
Yeah.
main villain of
Yeah.
the movie. And frankly, this is something I was very clearly expecting and have no issue with. I personally have an issue with the way they portrayed her descent into madness, aka
The
Not-
multiverse of madness.
aka not portraying it at all.
It's a lot of off-screen development in which WandaVision ends with her reading the Darkhold, and we're supposed to then believe from there that book corrupted her to be insane.
And I could totally
Which-
believe that. That's
yeah,
fine.
but,
I
to be-
can.
To be fair though, isn't that the whole point? Like if you know what the Darkhold is,
The Darkhold.
You're familiar with the Darkhold.
I know it's the book of the damned, and that it corrupts everything and everyone that it touches.
and you see that she's reading through it, I mean, logic dictates that
Yeah.
you're gonna just assume, oh, she's gonna turn evil now.
Totally, but I think it's
So it's
such a
like-
disservice to that character who underwent a very, very compelling arc at the end of throughout WandaVision, and by the end of it, comes to terms with her grief and overcomes her grief, right? And then we get one scene as a mid-credit scene where Wanda, we see her doing
after
astral
credits, not mid credits.
doing astral projection and basically searching for her kids using the Darkhold. And then in that scene, her children are calling out for help.
They saw WandaVision, don't worry.
They're calling out for help, right? Cut to this film, the first interaction we have with Wanda is a complete lie, right? Until she basically swipes the rug out from under us.
It was a
well
cool
done.
reveal.
Totally a great reveal. It's just when you have a character who did some bad things in WandaVision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some questionable things, but who ultimately overcame her grief and left, okay, the city of Westview. You now have the character doing really horrible things in this film,
worse than WandaVision.
like irredeemable things in this movie.
Yeah.
So you make her go through this arc in WandaVision where she takes some steps back, but then one step forward, one big leap forward for herself and for her development, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now in this film, you put her way further back than she ever was. She's taking 10 steps back in this film. And then
way past Age of Ultron, working for Hydra.
you know, and yeah. And then by the end of it, kind of leaving you in this very, very questionable, like, where is this going to go type scenario with Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you ever possibly... I guess it's redemption is the path they want to take her on now again.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just repeating what you did in WandaVision, except WandaVision, I could totally buy you redeeming that character. In this film, can I really redeem Wanda after the horrible, heinous things that she did? I don't know. It's you know, and I feel like the ending for that character is very unsatisfying for many fans.
Well, is it really an ending, though?
I mean...
Well, it could be, but I don't think it is. Let me just put that out there.
I would redeem her if she killed John Krasinski's Reed Richards, because, like, I didn't like him.
Okay, like,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, but, like, yeah, no, I was very lukewarm on it.
But, so, I just feel like if you want to do such a drastic change for the character... Doing it off screen is a great disservice because I think honestly both Elizabeth Olsen and Wanda Maximoff for the character she plays is they deserve better than that.
Look, I think what you're saying is not misguided at all.
Right.
Because even in an interview I read, I think today or yesterday, with Mike Waldron, the writer,
okay,
he had said that the original draft of this film was, well, I think even before Sam Raimi signed on, was just basically like a basic MCU movie where at the end, it was going to be this whole movie teaming up Doctor Strange, Wanda team up.
Right.
And at the end, she becomes bad.
I kind of prefer that idea, to be honest. Like,
not really.
I don't know. I feel like I would much rather take this than.
I'm happy with what we got. But when you said that, I'm like, that kind of explains why we get so quick into it.
But that's exactly it. That is exactly why. So I'm really curious to see the original cut. It feels like letting Wanda be bad from the get-go.
I'm telling you right now, it wasn't filmed. It was just like the original draft.
The original draft, sure.
Yeah.
But
like you can't watch the Raimi cut where Wanda gets developed. It doesn't exist.
But like, but here's the thing. Why would her kids be calling out for help in the mid-credit scene? And now in this film, they're totally fine in every multiverse that
so
she
easy.
sees.
The Darkhold manipulator you want to see.
Fine,
That's what it is.
but none of that is really explored in a compelling way. Like, I would have loved to see this play out through the actual film. Like, in my opinion, what the movie should have been was the multiverse going completely out of whack, and Doctor Strange basically wants to seek out help from Wanda, and then along the way, on this journey, Wanda realizes, wait a minute, I might have a chance to be reunited with my children. And then throughout the course of the film, needing to use the Darkhold on this quest, Wanda starts getting, going into a descent of madness, basically, and starts becoming the villain that we got at the very beginning of this movie.
I like this movie more.
Yeah, I kind of like this more. I prefer where she was a villain from the get-go because, like,
cool. That's totally fine.
It was set up in WandaVision.
Look,
like,
I wasn't set up in WandaVision.
No matter how you slice it, they specifically state it's the Darkhold. She's using it.
I think it's
and
cheap.
if you know literally anything about it, it's like you have a character say, "Oh yeah, I'm missing bananas," and then afterwards, then a couple afterwards, you see the character has bananas now. It's like you don't have to explain that he went to the store to buy them.
Totally.
It's there because it's already been stated.
Right, but if on that journey to go get bananas, the character is transforming essentially, which is basically the whole point of a character arc.
Transformers now.
Shut up, Grandma! What are you doing here?
Just give me a break. Will you?
Grandma, drink your prune juice!
Which is the whole point of a character arc. And you take that away, like, okay, I'll use this as an example.
What can you really show? It's like you're just gonna show her getting corrupted. How do you visualize that? How do you explain that without it directly impacting the story? And then Doctor Strange being like, "Yo, you okay?"
But make it directly impact the story, of course.
But then you're rewriting the movie completely. at this point.
I think that's what he wants.
Well, at least for maybe the first third of the movie. I don't know. Look, because like I'll give you an example. Let's say Spider-Man 3. Tobey Maguire's Peter gets the symbiote towards the end of the film. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What does this have to do with the Sandman?
Gets the symbiote towards the end of the film, and then we have a break, and now we get Spider-Man 4. And now at the very beginning of Spider-Man 4, he is a completely different character. I feel like that's a great disservice to the character to completely eradicate that arc and that descent into becoming darker. That's the same vibe that I get from Wanda.
I understand what you're trying to say.
You know?
But honestly, I could accept it, and look, on my first watch, I was a bit like, whoa, okay, this is very far, like, evil. Like, I did not expect it to go this bad.
Right.
But on the second watch, I felt better about it, and I was much more willing to accept.
Yeah, I did feel on the second viewing. I will say I did feel better about it, but I don't know. I just feel like using a MacGuffin as a plot device to completely transform a character off screen is a bit cheap.
It didn't bother me because it's like I expected this to happen. Totally, I knew it was gonna happen. Yeah. So it's like her becoming so evil. I'm like whatever, and especially the movie, like at the end with the evil Strange was like, oh, it's gonna take a toll on you. It's like, okay, they're pretty much stating like she really used this thing, and like
I do think though the things that we do see from Wanda, especially involving her children, are very compelling.
Yeah, her performance is
Elizabeth
really
Olsen.
good.
I think every performance across the board is magnificent, but I think Elizabeth Olsen steals the show.
John Krasinsky, but yeah.
Stop with John Krasinsky.
No, Elizabeth Olsen is the star of this movie. In all honesty.
Yeah. So
I still say Benedict Cumberbatch, but yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch convinced me he could play 4 different Doctor Stranges.
Yeah, but they weren't radically different.
No, they had enough subtle
One
differences.
of them was a zombie, buddy. That's pretty different.
They had enough subtle differences where it's like, okay, you could genuinely say this is an otherworldly Doctor Strange, and he managed to do that perfectly.
I gotta say, speaking of which, Doctor Strange, one with the ponytail, I forgot what the mark.
Defender Strange.
Yeah, Defender Strange, that cool costume.
Love that costume.
I love at the beginning that they take the line from No Way Home.
Yes.
And they twist on his back, showing how like
yes,
it's just a means to justify what you're doing, even if it's not right.
But we're friends. You're killing me.
I know. But in the grand calculus of the multiverse, your sacrifice is worth more than your life.
Correct.
And it really showed like how he was in the wrong in No Way Home in a way.
That's but also was he?
That's a discussion for the No Way Home review.
Yes, but also in this film as well. Like, is he wrong to? I think so.
He is,
but I think it is justifiable from a utilitarian kind of point of view, right?
But the movie in the end sides more with
the
regular Stephen Strange. It is wrong, and I love that it gives him more of an arc, even coming from No Way Home.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Strange's arc, what did you think of Strange's arc?
I loved it. I thought it was. I love the fact that this movie, as big in scale, you're jumping universe to universe, is all done with one theme. And that theme is, are you happy, Steven?
Right.
Yeah. It gives you a human story to tell such an inhuman story.
And in case you didn't catch the theme, they say it like maybe verbally like 4 times throughout the movie.
But I liked it for me. Like
me too.
It's
I think funny enough, I do think it is quite a profound theme among these comic book movies because it's something that's rarely ever explored. You know.
It reminds me of Spider-Man 2 in a way, like
100%.
And that's an incredibly human story about the character.
Yeah,
and it's such a big story that you're like, wow. They still managed to land a story about the title character, which, like I said before, I was afraid they weren't gonna do, and they did.
I do think in Spider-Man 2 though that theme never gets lost along the way. In this film,
that I'm not comparing.
It is kind of like sloppily applied. Some people might disagree. That's fine.
I don't know,
but
I disagree.
Yeah, but like. Now, considering the fact that from what Benedict Cumberbatch has said in an interview on a podcast once,
not the reference point podcast.
Before they started,
not yet.
Movie, hopefully, this movie underwent a crazy amount of reshoots, like
6 weeks about.
Like way more reshoots than normal for a big movie like this. I feel. And he mentioned his concern about a lack of a character arc for Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
at the time of that recording.
And when he had said that, that's what worried me the most about the movie.
Me too.
Not giving him an arc, and he's the title character. That's so disappointing.
Right, and then at the premiere of the film, he talked a lot about changes that were made that he was happy with regarding his character, especially in the third act. Right. That he himself also had input in. So I think
what that was.
If this, I think it's all the character moment stuff.
Like him giving a great monologue as a zombie.
No, America. I've come here to tell you to trust yourself. Trust your power.
No,
I
actually, I don't think so at all. I think it's all the human elements. Like, are you happy? I think that beautiful exchange with Christine where he tells her that he loves her in every universe. I think that was a very, very beautiful moment.
I love you. I love you in every universe. It's not that I don't want to care for someone or have someone care for me. It's just... I get scared.
Yeah.
Very Spider-Man 2-esque in a way. You know, that had a very
And he goes, Dr. Strange,
sweet Raimi
no more.
touch.
No Uncle Ben.
No Uncle Ben.
More. Spider-Man no more.
So, you know, I thought all that was great. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it wasn't properly applied throughout the course of the movie, but
I disagree.
If you disagree, that's totally cool. But given the fact that it might have all been a result of reshoots, I think that they did a very good job with it. You know, it's not. I don't think it's perfectly executed, but it's something that I did quite like very much.
And I find sometimes a lot of movies have like these glaringly obvious reshoots.
Yeah.
But this one, like, I honestly couldn't really tell.
The only time I was able to tell with Wong's haircut.
Yeah, Wong's hairline did change in like between scenes.
No, it was a straight up different change. Like the other one, he had like that, you know, like that sort of.
Yeah, one
look.
of them it was like shorter, and the other one it was like up.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice that.
I noticed
caught
that
on.
once in my first viewing. The second viewing, I forgot.
I caught on
missed it,
right
that's
at the end because I noticed. I was like, oh yeah, I'm really liking, you know, this like emo bowl cut haircut. Then when then right at the end, I'm like, wait a sec, what happened?
Yeah. Speaking of Wong, I love him as a character. He's so great as Sorcerer Supreme. Benedict Wong, the actor, is great.
I know.
I love the fact that he's popped up in so many projects.
Yep, like Shang-Chi too.
Yeah, and probably She-Hulk. We'll see if I'm right.
We'll see.
Yo, he gets with the She-Hulk.
That I'd watch.
I'm so happy. I was concerned throughout the whole movie. I'm like, are they gonna kill Wong in this movie?
When he fell off that cliff, I'm like, I'm about to walk out right now. Sam, I love you. You can't do that. You can't do that to me.
This is another character assassination, like Uncle Ben in Spider-Man 3.
I do think though, like, you know, the scene when Wanda's torturing the other sorcerers there at Camartage, and he basically almost immediately gives up the location of the mountain there where the Darkhold was originally transcribed. I don't know, for a character who's constantly complaining that Steven is always reckless and whatnot, you would think that it would take a little bit more in that moment, but I also understand.
He's also, come on,
I get it.
There's Rintra, the big green guy.
Yeah.
He's a Minotaur.
My girlfriend, like, audibly in the theater said, what the hell is that? When she saw that
Rintra from the comics, I know him, I love him, so I was like, when I saw him, like, that's
No, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. They got rid of that one character from the first Doctor Strange movie.
Master Hamir.
Yeah, what was that,
so
man?
Sad. He got like.
He just sucked into the ground. I'm like, into the floor. I'm like, oh, you know.
No, Master Hamir, no.
Yeah, but speaking of like body counts.
Let's talk about you know, the real. I wouldn't say the highlight, but the one that's gonna definitely have people talking.
It was the one that people wanted to avoid spoiler-wise the most possible.
The only moment that really got cheers in our theater.
Shuma Gorath being a Conan character.
No, Paolo.
No, but the Illuminati will see us now. Or Doctor Strange said, the Illumawati.
The Illuminati?
Exactly.
So for those who don't know, the Illuminati are actually not like what you expect in real life.
No.
But actually a group in the comics. They were created in what, like the early 2000s?
2006.
Mid 2000s, yeah.
Okay. Mid 2000s. Mid 2000s is 2500.
Oh. But it's more. It was created by Brian Michael Bendis, and I believe Steve McNiven drew that arc.
Right.
And they're of New Avengers.
And like shown in the movie, they're the ones who have to make the really big, tough decisions about basically universe-wide sort of events,
cataclysmic events.
Yeah, exactly.
They're almost like the Avengers, but they have a greater hand than the Avengers in a way.
Yeah. They're kind of like, it kind of plays off the idea of what the Illuminati is in real life with
the conspiracies and whatnot.
Yeah, where it's like, you know, they control everything, they decide everything.
Sure.
But anyway, so
anyways, he got cooked.
Yeah, the Illuminati is made up of Black Bolt.
My personal favorite, Black Bolt. The Inhumans are underrated characters. I've always liked the Inhumans, Black Bolt, when I saw him in the theater, I'm like, no way.
And
I never thought they'd put in the MCU, and then his head blew up, and I was like, no way.
I think bringing back the actor who played him in Inhumans was like the biggest surprise.
It was nice.
Like out of
cool
all
costume
the
too.
Oh, the costume was like ripped straight out of the comics.
Cool.
And I think out of all the predictions that people were making about which multiversal characters might appear, I don't think Black Bolt, played by him specifically. What's his name again? The actor?
Anson Mount.
Yes, and he's in Star Trek now. He's playing
exactly.
Pike, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Great actor, really, really good actor.
I've seen him in other stuff. He's good.
Yeah, he's very good. So seeing him come back, especially after the really horrible reception surrounding Inhumans.
Yeah, it's bad.
Great
I'm
sport.
like the only guy who saw that show, and it's bad.
Yeah, I'm really happy he came back because he had a really cool moment, couple of moments.
Seeing him, and I love that they even just show the power of Black Bolt's voice.
Yes.
To like when he takes out his Doctor Strange and he just says, "I'm sorry," and just whisper, and he goes, "Boom!"
Yeah, it was
blows
cool.
the guy away.
Yeah.
If anyone knows his Black Bolt in the comics is super overpowered.
Yeah.
He yells and he can literally level a planet, like
Right.
annihilate an entire planet, like Death Star.
Which I think taking him off the board, killing him off immediately in such a profoundly shocking way was necessary.
Pushing
It was
the boundaries of PG-13.
It was a necessary jolt that the audience needed, and that got the biggest gasp. Not cheer, but I hope not cheer.
I was not happy.
But gasp. Like people were like, "Oh shit, this just got real,"
So next in the Illuminati lineup is Captain Carter from not from What If, but like made famous from What If, basically.
It's clearly a variant from What If. Like it's not the same one. But point is, she was half the woman she used to be from the beginning, from What If, I would say.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Next we have Captain Marvel, which is is it Monica Rambeau?
No, it's Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Who, basically from where you could tell is the same accent from the Captain Marvel movie happens, but it happens to Maria instead.
Instead of Brie Larson, who ruined Marvel and Star Wars.
Oh, shut up, Paul.
But I really like, what's her name? Lashana Lynch. I like the way she played like the confidence of Captain Marvel. Yeah. Like I like she did
I thought it was a little bit heavy-handed with the shade being thrown. It was a little bit much. I'm like,
I liked it. It's like we can handle your little witch, and then
also
boom,
I just want to say, please, like, Paolo was joking about Brie Larson. Like, I don't want
to. Anyone with a brain knows that.
Well, I mean,
that's why I said everyone with a brain.
Not everyone is chronically online. Don't forget.
It was a joke. Next
is Professor X, played by
Sir Patrick Stewart. Sir
Patrick Stewart.
His head got ripped in half. That was what the hell, guys?
Well, ripped in half.
Wait, the guy's neck
it's literally. I saw it on Twitter. It's literally ripped in half. His neck's not snapped. His head gets ripped in half.
Oh,
what?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
And then gets neck snapped in real life.
His mind breaks and then he just falls. But his head literally gets ripped in half by a Scarlet Witch demon. It's freaking nuts in slow motion.
Good God. Wow. I can't wait to play that in slow-mo on 4K.
Also, he had the proper wheelchair, the floating gold one.
The 90s animated series shared a 90s animated team. And he even had the powers when he does this, and it goes like the circle.
Oh, dude.
Cool. The sonar thing.
I was most excited about because we first of all, the marketing campaign of this movie showed way too much, in my opinion. Like, what the hell was that? You did not need to show Professor Charles Xavier in the TV spots and the trailers.
Well, the trailer basically confirmed, and then the TV spot showed his hand with the wheelchair.
You did it. People didn't need to know this.
Honestly, that's more of a bigger problem with movies in general, where they're gonna spoil too much, just because I feel like they're too afraid that it's gonna do well. So it's like, we might as well show it because we don't give a shit for spoilers, and we know that it'll definitely get butts in seats.
But then again, like the TV spot, it's not exactly like not everyone sees it, so it's like whatever.
I guess, but what I wasn't expecting was
the point of a TV spot is that everyone sees it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What I wasn't expecting though was to bring back the X-Men '90s animated series theme song.
Oh yeah.
That was like, whoa. And yeah, we'll get to music.
And Danny Elfman using a score that isn't his.
we'll get to Danny Elfman's score soon, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
Next is
Baron Mordo.
Baron Mordo
it starts off as Strange. I think they called him Supreme for some reason. Same as the What If one, but
he's the Sorcerer Supreme in that universe.
Yeah, and the marketing, because I saw the Funko Pop, they called him like Supreme Strange.
Right.
But that one's called Strange Supreme also, so it's like it's weird. Okay. But it's like the blue costume, no beard. That one dies, as you all know. You all watched the movie. Mm-hmm. And Baron Mordo takes over, which I thought was cool. I don't know what happened to Wong in that universe, but Baron Mordo.
True.
I like that character, and
what disappointed me about Mordo though. And I understand, like, he might not have a place in this particular story, and that's cool. But I really just wish that the ending of Doctor Strange would have been addressed in a more meaningful way, aka not addressing it.
Why are you doing this? Because I see at long last what's wrong with the world. Too many sorcerers.
I'm honestly happy that they're saving it more for a third movie, because I didn't want to see them like half-ass the storyline in this.
No, but I feel like they did, because again,
they really didn't, because there was no storyline with it.
I understand, but Mordo already having attempted to take Strange's life that he mentions, is like, yeah, and then he started trying to kill me.
Yeah, Mordo. He's actually the first guy to let me in a Comertage.
Oh, great.
And then he snapped and dedicated his life to trying to kill me.
Oh, great.
It's like, I would have loved to see that first interaction in a film devoted to the Mordo Strange dynamic. I don't want it to be a throwaway line. Now, yes, we could always get it as a flashback. This isn't like a major criticism I have with the movie. It's just kind of a nitpick.
Funny enough,
I really want to, because it just really jump off this. Think about it like this. Logically, Doctor Strange knows that Mordo hates him in his universe. So logic would dictate in another universe that sort of hatred would probably still stay.
Oh, no, but I'm talking about the main timeline.
No, because I know what you're saying. Main timeline, Doctor Strange says at a point too, that Mordo.
Yes.
Oh, that guy hates me, and like, you know, tried to kill me many times.
Tried to kill me, like,
to America, actually.
I really just wish that we had actually seen that play out for the first time in the film. And like I said, you could get that in a flashback. But I feel like it's another great disservice to two characters who were friends and who were allies and who grew a bond at Comertage together.
But where are you going to insert that in this movie? Because
that's what I'm saying.
It's so padded out.
That's why it doesn't bother me.
But that's what I'm saying.
They saved it for a third one.
It might, in my opinion, if you really wanted to address the Mordo relationship, instead of saying, yeah, he's tried to kill me, he'd be like, Mordo kind of went AWOL and we have no idea where Mordo went, you know? Well, and then you pick that up in a third film.
Are you sure you liked it? Because you're just basically rewriting the whole thing?
Well, I just think, I don't know. I personally think it would have been more compelling.
You want me to blow your mind quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of the leaks said this. I'm pretty sure it's true, because like a lot of the leaks got a lot of things right.
Okay.
That a cut scene, the opening scene of the movie, was actually going to be Wanda killing 616 Mordo.
Wow.
Beheading him, like cutting his head off.
I hate that.
He finds her at the farm. And when I read that recently, like after I saw the movie, I'm like, thank God they cut that out. What a waste of a character.
I despise that. That's, okay. So while there's some things that I might have liked from any potential original cut, original draft of the movie, that is not one that I support at all.
I'm very happy they cut it out, because that's a character. He's basically like Doctor Strange's main villain, his Joker.
Yeah, exactly.
His Green Goblin.
I love Mordo.
Joker. Yeah.
I love Mordo.
We gotta see more of him. I really hope he's the main villain of the third one. Like, you know.
I think, now we're getting teases towards Dormammu again and the Dark Dimension. So I think Mordo will be heavily involved in the third film. I don't know. I just feel like I understand why they did what they did, but I wish that the dialogue was altered so that Strange didn't already have that really, really important interaction with Mordo in the past, like off screen. Again,
is it really that important?
Things off screen. I think so.
Think about it like this. It's like kind of like villains.
Him and he dipped.
It's kind of like just villains fighting heroes. It's just if there's not, it's like, yeah, sure, they fought and it's important, but if there's nothing of significance with that fight, it's okay if you just mention it. It's kind of like how, you know, with Peacemaker, they were always referring to his past antics.
Matter Eater Lad.
Yeah, like with Matter Eater Lad. It's like you don't have to see it. It's like just being told of that is enough, because there was nothing of significance.
I don't want to defend Matthew, but I'm going to defend him a little bit. I understand, because Mordo is such a big character.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him reduced to a throwaway line.
Like, they were allies in the first movie, and now to see that betrayal not happen on screen for the first time, to me is a great disservice to Mordo. Like they did with Wanda, some things happened off screen that were, in my opinion, really important. They also did it with Mordo. Now, the Mordo thing is not nearly on the same scale, I think, as the Wanda thing. It's very, very different. But anyway, it's just something I want to talk about.
Because that's something that they can easily fix with a sequel. Like, I'm not exactly...
Yeah, so we'll see. I would love to see a flashback.
And finally, the last member of the Illuminati
speaking of the Illuminati,
is John Krasinski.
You?
Sorry, Mr. Fantastic.
As the smartest man alive, who reveals his entire plan.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie. I liked the look of like his costume and everything. I just didn't like John Krasinski.
He had more lines on his costume than he had in the movie.
He did. I don't know, the way he portrayed himself, the way he talked, like even like just his mannerisms. It didn't feel like Reed Richards to me.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I'm gonna say this. I thought the suit was over designed. I looked at it, I'm like, there's too much black on blue. I always love the classic, just black collar, black gloves, black boots, and do they have underwear thing too?
No.
They don't have to put that, but point is, and you put the circle in the middle, that's it. And he doesn't need all these unnecessary lines on his arms.
I agree.
I didn't mind it. I kind of liked it. I dug it. But like, his portrayal just felt so off. Like this, it's like, this isn't Mr. Fantastic. This is just John Krasinski.
But also, what I don't mind about the costume, getting back to that quick, was that this is a multiversal one, so it's like, the main universe is gonna, I hope, has a much better costume.
Right,
I know they're not gonna copy paste.
I mean, they probably are, because each multiversal version of everyone had a different costume.
Yeah, but that's my point.
I always did want John Krasinski and his real life wife Emily Blunt to play Reed and Sue in the main MCU timeline. Whether that's gonna happen with even John Krasinski now, I don't know, because he is playing a variant from a different universe, right? But I was just really happy to see him on screen. That got the biggest applause. That was really unexpected. If it wasn't, shut up. If it wasn't leaked for you, thankfully I didn't see the leak, so it really did come as a great surprise to me.
I'm gonna say this: I've always said from the beginning, I don't like the fan cast. When he showed up, I'm like, I'm gonna do it with an open mind. When his scene ended and he turned into spaghetti, I'm like, well, thankfully he's spaghetti now, because I do not like him as a character.
What was it about?
And I'm praying that they don't put him in the main MCU 616. I really hope they get maybe someone unknown, or just get a more comic accurate choice. I find, like, he's nothing like the comic one to me, and it really bothered. Like, I see him and I don't see Reed Richards.
Here's the thing, I just think his portrayal was weird. Seeing it, I was like, this isn't Reed Richards to me. Like, this doesn't make it just didn't make sense in my mind.
To me, he was like, the fact that he was considered for Captain America makes more sense to me than Reed Richards.
Yeah. That makes more sense to me,
I guess.
Had he played a Captain America variant, I'd be like, this makes more sense. Reed Richards, I just don't see it.
Well, for me, don't forget, it's also the material has been given, right? Like, all the dialogue he has in this film is just exposition.
Right, but the way he chose to portray it just...
It was boring.
Well, I also...
He just felt like he was just reading it off like something.
Besides that, the point is, I've never been for it, and I had an open mind, and he still hasn't convinced me. A movie could come out, and he could be the main star as Reed Richards, and maybe I'll be convinced. Yeah. But as of right now, I don't want him. I'd rather have someone else, maybe someone original. Get back the guy from 2005. I'm joking. They should have had him in the movie, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would
Ian Grufford would have been really cool. Yeah,
I forgot his name, but he would have been cool to have, because at least, like I said this to you before, I think.
Yeah.
But it would have tied in with the Fox universe. Like, you got Patrick Stewart, and then you got him. You finally see those two universes cross together, because they never did in the Fox one. So I'd like to see that almost.
Yeah, and it's a nice kind of callback to like the sort of classic Marvel, because in all honesty, they owe their existence to those movies.
Not really.
Like, I mean, like them or not, they're kind of what helped build the fan base to be able to
remember
appreciate
in the credits of this video, we would like to dedicate a very special thanks to Avi Arad. Anyway,
who got caught throwing Venom toys at Marvel Studios in April 1st.
That's an inside joke. We're not getting into that right now. We'll talk about it one day.
Comment and ask us.
I personally, I didn't have a problem with John Krasinski. I just don't think what he had to say in the film was particularly interesting on a dialogue level.
Fair enough.
So I think he could really shine as Reed Richards in the future, given the right material. I like his look, not the costume per se, but I like him with the beard. I always bought him as Reed, and I still stand by that fan casting.
Fair enough.
We'll see.
I've always liked those classic Fantastic Four costumes. I just want to see that.
Yeah.
What do we feel about the Illuminati basically getting cooked by Wanda? Because I'm not gonna lie, it kind of didn't sit right with me.
I totally understand why. I get it.
Because, well, for me, it comes down to really two things. One, I really don't like heroes being killed for like that sort of shock value and like
Mordo,
and the sort of like, if it's not that, like, look, it's gonna sound weird, but if it's not in service to the plot, so like, let's say it's like some sort of big sacrifice, like Iron Man, like that, I could get behind because it was a great sacrifice.
Yeah,
with this. Just like, it was meant to sort of show how far, Wanda's falling, like, and it would make sense that the only way she could really continue her mission is to dispatch of them, but like,
it isn't bad taste. I get it. I understand.
And it's kind of like a sort of bad taste with like, Peacemaker with like, the Justice League swearing.
I'm so sick of that rumor.
It's not a rumor.
You, Barry.
Yeah.
Like, look. It was weird, and then also just made me feel like, how can you possibly redeem Wanda like that? Like, I know they're not 616 heroes, but like, she still killed a lot of other heroes. Like,
yeah,
how do you How do you work with that?
I get it.
The thing is, she's completely not like
I thought it was
justified,
great.
not like justified, but like I understand why, and she was doing anything to get with her kids, and I fully get behind that. It's just that it just made me feel weird to see them get killed.
I thought it was a little funny. They show like the incompetence. It's like, oh, it's you, Strange. It's like, no, it's the witch. You're like, oh, the witch is okay, and then they all die. It's like, it's funny seeing how that came together.
I bought all of that. The only look, like I said, I think the Black Bolt death was the shock that and the jolt that the audience needed.
It was very cool.
The only death that I really had an issue with was Reed. Like, why are you extending your arm out to Wanda?
Smartest man alive.
Like, why? Smartest man alive. Like, you could literally try anything else. Maybe stretching and go like dodging her, like going to off to the side.
Like a gadget or gizmo he can use?
Anything, like do anything other than extend your arm out. And I feel like they only had Krasinsky to shoot some scenes for a very limited time. It's probably a reshoot
with him and
exactly. So like I don't know, but like I felt like his death felt quite stupid, but I thought all the other ones were well justified.
I'm surprised Captain Carter lasted that long. She has a shield, like give me a break.
And a jetpack. She was basically Boba Fett.
Literally. She had just about as much speaking lines.
I thought it worked. I understand the point of view of feel like you just wasted these characters.
Like speaking of the sort of Illuminati and just like these characters, and this kind of ties into the sort of bigger disappointment that a lot of people had with it not being a cameo fest. But like, do you think we could have had better characters as Illuminati, or do you think they were well cast?
Well
chosen.
John Krasinski.
Sorry, well chosen.
Really
so
hating on John Krasinski. Jesus.
Or like Reed Richards, Captain Marvel, Professor X, Black Bolt, and
I thought the lineup was fine because we could still get our very own main timeline MCU Illuminati with maybe Strange actually forming the Illuminati himself.
That's kind of what I got the vibe of, in all honesty. When they said specifically, it's like you were the one who did it. It's like, oh, he's gonna do it now in the MCU.
And also, like within those Illuminati scenes, the amount of times incursion was freaking mentioned. Like, that's
what's an incursion?
Very clearly setting up Secret Wars in the next 5 to 10 years, which I'm really happy about. So I think with all that prior knowledge that Steven now has about incursions and whatnot, I think he's maybe going to form his own Illuminati in the main MCU timeline, and then we'll get like Namor from Black Panther 2. Hopefully he's going to be in that. I think he will.
The two big ones missing from the comics were Iron Man and Namor.
Yeah.
Well, Iron Man,
I'm very happy. Look, everyone's saying Tom Cruise. I didn't believe it for a second.
Okay.
I'm happy he didn't put Iron Man because I feel like we just saw him sacrifice himself. If I would have seen him just now again, I felt like...
Yeah, but it's played by Tom Cruise, a different Iron Man.
What if it's played by a different actor?
Tom Cruise.
Different actor, I think I'd
feel
a little
Cruise,
better,
like,
but I'm kind of still... I'm still happy because we just put that character to the rest. I don't need to see him again, even if it's a different actor. You know what I mean?
Okay, I respect that.
So I'm happy they didn't use him. And Namor, I think it's because they're using him in Black Panther 2. I don't think they wanted that to be his first appearance.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
right.
Do you feel like the movie kind of...
is T'Challa part of the Illuminati?
I think so. He's either... Was he in the original incarnation or like later on? Because I know he's in it.
I think he might be. So
I'm not sure.
But I can understand why they wouldn't use him too.
But do you feel like the movie capitalizes on the multiversal element as well as it could have?
I think it did, because when you do something multiverse like that, you're kind of walking a fine line of what becomes like what takes away from the character-driven story and turns into a cameo fest versus like I don't know what else to compare it to, in all honesty. But
I know what you're saying, and I'm going to say this. I think that people who say it doesn't is because of two reasons. One, expectations.
Yes.
People went into this movie expecting to see 2003 Hulk, Blade, everyone.
Deadpool.
Basically,
because
1940s, of that Fantastic Four, I don't know, everything.
Because they expected that because of that stupid leaker guy who's saying, oh, yeah, he's in it, and posting obviously fake screenshots and people eating it up.
And I think that really hurt a lot of people's reception of the movie. Yeah. And two, I think you're going to get your cameo fest, which I'm low-key dreading, in Secret Wars. Yeah. They're saving the big multiverse for Secret Wars. This movie, in the end, at its core, was a Strange story. Doctor Strange story, I should say. And that's what it was. And it utilized a couple multiverses well. Like, the ones that it used all worked well for me.
I liked it that it made it they added more to his character.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer that over just like, because you know what? When they're crossing through the multiverses, that was good enough for me. Like, we saw 1940s, so the noir universe. We saw 2099.
You see the Hala from
We saw
Captain
2099?
Marvel. Yeah.
We do?
Well, it looks like 2099. So.
Okay.
But you see Hala from Captain Marvel. You see what looks like a thing run by Mysterio drones at a point.
Yes,
You saw the Loki world?
I think so.
Because I saw that it was the
super quick.
statues.
Yeah.
Then you got
quick.
Paint Universe, which is really important.
That was cool.
I'm curious to see how that even works, because if the multiverse exists based on one person making an alternative decision that then skews the timeline and puts it off in a new direction, now without the existence of the TVA to stop that, like I'm just interested in knowing like how the hell did this Paint Universe come about?
Man
like,
was made with paint.
I guess say like back in the day, like what did it like? Did they like?
That's also just Raimi having fun. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, but like all this to say, I
Anyway,
like
I
that
don't know.
we got our sort of fill of multiverses in that sort of montage rather than just like, oh, look at this, we're in black and white world. What could this mean? And then you see like
totally.
You see them as a
Spider-Man
cartoon
Noir.
at a point. That was funny. I liked it. To me, the fact that they just gave us worlds that had importance to Strange was good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm cool with
Like
that
you
too.
get the Dark Doctor Strange, that they have a really cool music fight. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay,
yeah.
let's talk about Danny
But I was
Elfman.
gonna say,
Yeah.
I was just say quick before we get to Danny
Yeah,
Elfman. That character is in service to still Strange. That he's talking about. He even talks about Christine's wedding and like moving on and like he pushed some strangers out the window. In the end, that scene was always to service the character, and that's what I like the most.
You
For
know
me.
what? Each kind of thing, each multiverse kind of showed a progression of Doctor Strange's character if he
Exactly.
went on this negative path. So
Sure.
like you had the like
The Darkhold one, which he uses later on in the film. You have
Yeah.
that one.
Yep.
where it's like that's where he caught himself and decided please
Mm-hmm.
end my life. And then you have another one where it's like what if he didn't
Yeah.
decide this? What if he just fell deeper? What if he basically went
What
through
if
that
he-
Wanda arc?
Or what if he just couldn't get over Christine?
So it's like it ultimately showed the path Doctor Strange was going on,
100%.
and it was showing that made him realize I gotta snap out of this and get serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, about Danny Elfman. Talking about that music fight
I just-
specifically.
I got it. Well, I'll say
The music fight was the coolest
it
thing
was
for me.
cool.
I don't know why.
It's very Lee and Ditko-esque, of course. So that made me very happy. A lot of the Doctor Strange actions I found were Lee and Ditko-esque, like
Yeah,
the
so
big
the-
buzzsaw, the animal
monster
fists
arm-
and stuff. I'm like
Yeah,
that's
monster
cool.
Arms and shit. Like that was cool. Like
Yeah.
that was nice to watch, and especially they were very colorful too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was different from what we've already seen from Strange, with just whips and shields and
Yep.
I
Yeah.
like seeing different stuff. It's cool.
It was a cool showcase of powers for sure.
That being said, going back to Danny Elfman, I thought his score was not bad. I wouldn't say it was. I kind of like Giacchino's score more for the first one
Me too.
Feels like I've heard it before.
because you probably have. But I gotta say, when it cuts to credits and the main title starts playing, I'm like, okay, this track is good. Like it's a hard cut, like from the big cliffhanger.
I think there are a couple motifs throughout because I listened to the score by itself. The emotional motif that he plays, kind of revolving around America Chavez at one point, but also Christine, when he tells her that he loves her in every universe, and then the ending of the movie, like there's that emotional motif that plays throughout. I think that's really, really strong. I like when he does call back to Giacchino's score as well from the first film with the main theme. I do
with
wish
the
it was
Gargantos fight. he did.
with the Garganto, that fight when he jumps off the
What a cool shot!
Oh,
When he
great.
transport, he puts the kid.
oh
cool,
so
man.
good.
Cool.
So and the music really amplifies that
Yeah.
scene for me.
Thank you.
So moments like that are really wonderful. I do wish he implemented the main theme more often.
What if he, what about when he played the Flash theme? You like that?
Or the Justice
Flash,
League.
the
what I'm
Flash,
talking
his
about.
Oh,
his
okay.
Flash theme from Justice League is literally in the movie at one point,
But
and
it's
I
like
heard it.
copy like usually sometimes it's I even saw like his Hulk 2003 theme is in it.
Yes.
And but it's a variation on it, so it's like
Yeah.
I see what he's doing. The Flash is like Command C, Command V, like copy
Yeah.
paste.
It's kind of
It's
weird
bad.
because you know what? Mention Giacchino for the Jurassic World score, he reuses tracks he did for the Lost World PlayStation game, because that's actually where he got his start. But the thing is, I feel like that works better because not only is it within the same franchise, mind you, but it plays in better.
I don't want to rip on Danny Elfman too much for that, because in reality, a lot of composers do that.
Yes, they do.
Hans Zimmer does it a lot, but gets away
literally,
with it.
all the Dark Knight is like the Hans Zimmer
No,
bullshit.
I'm saying like he will do stuff like in one movie and then a completely different franchise, same track. I can't think of an example right now, but I promise you, if you Google it, you could probably find. So, like, to rip on Danny Elfman, like, yeah, but everyone does it almost.
But yeah, anyway, overall, I think it was a very strong score.
It does get distracting though if you actually know score though. I would say.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
But
you know, it's also something you just get over. So.
So let's talk about America Chavez.
Yeah,
what do
America
we think?
Chavez. We
I
mentioned her.
really liked her, and I really liked her powers.
Are so cool. I love those star portals. Awesome.
Same. Honestly, she was a great character, and I really want to see more of her.
Well, the star portals are from the comics. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm glad they did that.
No, but I'm like, the way it was made on film was so cool. Like, I love like that cloudy look. I'm like, this is cool. It's
yeah, for sure.
A cool way of adapting.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought I really enjoyed what I saw of her. I do wish she was used less as a plot device and more fleshed out as a character. I understand they're leaving things open for the future, maybe to potentially reunite with her mothers. Right. Which I'm looking forward to eventually when they do that.
For sure. I really want to see just where she goes, because her character could be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate how she's just completely taken off the board for a vast majority of the movie once Wanda gets hold of her.
Vast majority. I feel like it's not that.
It's not vast majority, dude. It was like literally maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's only the third act, I would say, and then she still comes back. Like.
Okay, well, regardless, I just feel like she just doesn't do much for a huge portion of the movie.
But at the same time, her power is overpowered.
No, but
but she doesn't know how to control it, so it's fine.
I would also say that's mainly to show the focus, because they do that, and that's mainly so they can focus on Strange versus the Sinister Strange.
Totally.
So for me, that worked.
And at the same time, too, if you think about it, it really gives more impact, though, to when she shows Wanda her kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
With that, with the universe where she basically took over the other Wanda, so it's like
I will say
works better with that.
The scene when she opens up the portal, and our Wanda is standing right before Billy and Tommy, and they're kind of like looking off to the side. They don't notice that a portal just opened in front of them, and that an evil version of their mother is standing right before them, until they just turn their heads to look at her.
I feel like that's Sam Raimi.
That's exactly what I said the other day.
I'm like, come on, like you don't have any peripheral vision, you don't have ears. Like,
one, they're kids, and two, that's not even the worst thing they did in that movie. The worst thing they did in the movie was sing the ice cream song.
The ice cream song was pretty cringe.
We like ice cream like every child should, and if we get some ice cream, we promise to be good.
They're kids. They're kids. It makes sense, but when they're singing, I whisper to my friend, "Man, these guys, they suck."
They're children.
I do think
it was a joke. It was a joke.
I think they gave much better performances in WandaVision. Yeah. I will say that
they had more screen time, though.
Yeah,
I guess but
they had more material to work.
Look, guys,
with.
But everything.
Acting is not easy, and acting as a child is even harder. So I'm not gonna.
For sure.
I can't rip on these guys.
But I like the way they're implemented in the plot for sure, and to give Wanda that moment of clarity towards the end is a very, very powerful moment. And again, huge testament to Elizabeth Olsen and that performance of hers. The scene where she's kind of like breaking down before them. It's like, I'm not a monster, I'm your mother, whatever.
And then
really,
he
really
chucks
good.
something at her head.
really, really great moment. And then, of course, Wanda brings down the
Darkhold Castle.
The Darkhold Castle upon herself. She makes that sacrifice.
She survived.
She had to survive. I'm sorry if you end her character like that. I'm like.
Again, I think that would be a great disservice to the character.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% certain she's not.
Like the only thing that indicates to me that she's alive is that they stated she destroyed the Darkhold in every universe. So it's like, is she powerful enough to have really done that, or could she have traveled herself because she sucked enough of America Chavez's power?
That I disagree. But I would say the biggest giveaway is the fact that the building's falling and as it's falling, you see a red cloud.
I was literally just about to mention that. Exactly.
I had to get it out first before you did.
I picked it up on the second
What if
viewing.
that's all her magic being released from getting crushed? Like
maybe.
Nah, I don't know. That's a very deliberate visual effect.
Yeah.
Like you put that intentionally for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
So for sure, yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Next, Sam Raimi being Sam Raimi.
Some great moments. Yeah.
I want to just start off. The Evil Dead references were great. Like my favorite one will be Bruce Campbell basically punching himself because it's like that's literally Evil Dead 2 with Ash.
So many people came up to me and said that the second after credit scene disappointed them so much.
I loved it.
And I'm like, I couldn't be more happy with an after credit scene.
It's over.
When he looks right into the camera and it zooms, I'm like, perfection. This is how I wanted the movie to end.
The zooms were nice.
Especially since I didn't like the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I want to talk about that later. Yeah.
A bit later. But that to me was a perfect after credit. It's funny and it worked. And it's breaking the fourth wall a bit of saying it's over, go home. I love those after credit scenes that are jokes.
The camera work, very Evil Dead with like, you know, the right on the characters, and she's like basically fighting the camera.
That reminded me straight out of Drag Me to Hell, dude.
Yes.
When the what are the
shaking the camera.
when the souls of the damned, like one of the spirits, like basically, climb onto Rachel McAdams and just with the shake.
And then you have the camera basically acting like the spirit, like the Deadite spirit in Evil Dead 1.
But I even love that Rachel McAdams pays off a joke from the first movie where Doctor Strange takes a pot when he's fighting Mads Mikkelsen. I forgot his character's name. But he's taking...
Caecilius?
Yeah, Caecilius. And he takes this like pot thing. He's like, you don't know what that does. And he goes, no. And he puts it back.
Yeah.
In this movie, she takes it, takes a candle, boom, and it lights up.
And she also said that they extracted power from that thing too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it kind of plays into the plot.
So one, they pay off the joke from the first movie.
Yeah.
And two, then she says, go back to hell. I'm like, okay, that's great.
Straight out of Drag Me to Hell. This is great,
Go
dude.
back to hell. I'm like, that's funny.
And the last bit of Raiminess is, well, for me anyway, was how Wanda was walking out of the mirror.
Yeah.
Or crawling out of the mirror practically.
Visual effects a bit sketchy, to be honest, in that one moment.
Broken. She's
it could have been better. I think there were two instances where VFX really stood out to me. There was that moment in the Gargantos fight when Wong is free falling and he opens up a portal to kind of like stop his free fall.
Yeah.
And he ends up hitting into a car. There's that one bit where he's hitting into the car, and I think that looked very sketch.
They should have used the real Benedict Wong and slammed him into a car.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then the visual effect of her coming out of the mirror. I think awesome conceptually. I just think visual effects wise could have been touched up a bit.
It really didn't bother me.
Yeah, it didn't bother me just because it added to the sort of creepiness level.
And hokiness in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, I think a lot of the Raimi-isms really, like I'm telling you, man, he came in clutch, man, with this movie. He was the real MVP for me.
The man, he was hired late almost, and he really nailed it.
They couldn't have. Listen, I loved Doctor Strange 1, and I do still think that the first film is better than this one in most ways, to be honest. And I think Scott Derrickson played a huge part in that first movie being incredible. And I was very, very let down with him departing due to creative differences, but they could not have picked
better replacement.
Yeah, a better auteur director than Sam Raimi to take over.
I want the Raimi for the third movie, 100%.
Me too.
Yeah.
But if they brought back Derrickson for the third, I couldn't be mad.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, he's a great director.
I loved also the all the souls of the damned being used as like a cape. As like a cape.
And Zombie Strange is just
everything
so cool, and it's only literally it's like it was basically Deadite Strange because even the way he looked was like a really
practical effect. Like I couldn't tell if it's animatronic at a point, like towards the end.
I don't know if that was like sort of the same thing for Bruce Campbell's makeup in either Evil Dead 2 or 3, where they did the sort of same thing with like. It was cool.
It was awesome. I loved it.
A lot of people took issue with, however, the hokiness of Zombie Strange, essentially telling America
believe in yourself.
Yeah, the very cliched,
it's fine.
Kind of character moment where you believe in yourself. The power's within you all along.
But I think what makes it better is because he's a zombie saying it.
I thought it was funny. I know some people might be turned off by that kind of quirky. I know our friend Nick was voicing that concern with me over the phone.
I was okay with it.
I was fine with it. Would it have been, I think, a little bit more compelling if it was the real Strange kind of telling it in a way that wasn't really played for quirky comedy. Maybe
I wouldn't call that quirky comedy.
Well, I was laughing. I was laughing. Yeah, our theater really wasn't laughing. Both days.
I just love when he says, "Who says it has to be alive?" and then it cuts to like the lightning.
Yeah, that was.
I'm like, awesome.
I'm
that was cool. That was a great visual.
But again, like you kind of see where it's going because they reveal all this stuff in the trailers, and it's
actually saw one trailer for this movie, and that's it.
In the trailer
like there was so much great imagery.
Here's
in
the
the
thing,
trailers,
though. In the trailers, you say, "Oh yeah, they spoiled it," but if you think about it, everyone believed that was like some sort of Marvel. That was the Marvel zombies.
Yeah, even with Wanda
Strange.
to that scene where she's opening the door.
I always thought like it could.
Which I was like, it's stupid. No, read anything.
I
but
saw
like,
he had the ponytail, and I'm like, it can't be him.
Very Terminator-esque too, when Wanda's like chasing after them,
cool.
limping with the red eyes. Anyway, about the ending, a lot of people also were a bit annoyed by the hard cut to black when he grows his third eye.
I love
I'm
that.
like,
That is
cool.
the most Sam Raimi thing you could do.
I know.
Leave people on a what the f*** and then just be like,
Totally.
all right, that's
when
it.
that happened, I said, "Holy crap! I can't wait for the next one."
Yeah,
Me
and
too.
then
the mid-credit scene happened.
this is another problem I have, and Marvel has been doing this forever, and not forever, maybe since Far From Home, where it's like, all this great development, like I was saying before, let's put it all off screen. Like at the beginning of Far From Home, Peter jumps into frame and is like, "I want to sit next to MJ on the plane." It's like, where did this come from?
Not this again. But look, I'm not here to complain about Far From Home right now. I disagree with that statement on Far From Home, but I will agree on this movie. The fact is, it cuts and he's walking, and I'm like, he's fine. It's not even the scene's not even in IMAX.
Like,
Yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, no, he's happy now. He's finally happy, and then all of a sudden
That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about the mid-credit scene. He's just walking.
Oh, okay.
And then when he puts on the cape, and because Clea shows up, blah blah blah. Dr.
Charlize
Mansion,
Theron.
You need the help, and he's like, and it's like, "Are you afraid?" And it's like, it pays off the line, "Don't be afraid, Stephen Strange."
Yes.
And it's like, "Oh, no, I'm not." And then it cuts, and he has the third eye. I'm like, "Oh, he solved it."
Like, here's the thing.
Okay.
Why would you do a hard cut to black with a shocking cliffhanger ending and then immediately address it in the mid-credit scene?
I feel like
was
that was
such a disservice.
It's
I
probably
hated
studio
them.
mandated. In all honesty,
I don't see that. I look, if you wanted to, if
it
the
wasn't
mid-credit scene was always meant to introduce Charlize Theron as Clea, which I think is great casting, and I'm excited for that.
I think it's fine casting.
Didn't like her costume, to be honest, that much. I thought she looked like
Bro,
she
they always
was
change-
straight out of Power Rangers
The
or something.
thing is, they always change the costume in the first appearance.
They
I'm
do,
like,
yeah, they do. They really do.
Stressful.
But I hated the mid-credit scene of the movie. I think it left a very, very bad taste in
and
my
I
mouth.
agree with you. I feel like the movie's legitimately better without it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no other
It
way
is
to
better
put it.
without it, straight up, 100%.
It's not even that good of a tease, I find. Like,
No, but that's why if you wanted to introduce Clea as Charlize Theron as Clea, why don't you do a scene with her and Dormammu?
In the
and
dark
he calls
dimension.
and he calls her daughter, right? Niece. Yeah, sorry. In the comics, call her niece. Be like, holy, oh my god, wow, what a cool reveal, In the
Yeah.
dark dimension, show us something there.
Be like, who's that? Maybe a villain, maybe this.
Yeah, like I don't know why we needed to have this interaction with her and Strange. It
Or
just
even
felt completely out of left field.
or
to me.
even have it happen when he's screaming in the street. Like maybe in the background you're gonna see the
No.
portal appear.
No, he's on the floor. You can't do that.
Okay, fair. Actually, no. I want to ask this.
You're
What's
losing
up with the third eye? Like, is that relevant to anything? Like in the comics, like
It's-
what is
Illuminati
that?
confirmed.
It's basically the bare bones thing is to, like he says, it's the Darkhold that's now got a hold of him, and
Oh.
we're gonna see where he goes from
Okay,
there.
so he's gonna get corrupted.
Maybe
I don't know, but he
That's
seems
what we have
okay
to
in that
figure out.
mid-credit scenes.
That's
He
the
seems,
problem,
He
like-
seems really nice and happy.
he seems okay with the third eye in the mid credits, like so
So-
he mastered it, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was
That's-
like, what's up with
The
that?
point is, seeing Clea was cool because I do like that character in the books, and like it's Doctor Strange. Anyone who knows about her, she's Doctor Strange's love interest and wife in the comics. So
Right.
It's like now we're seeing him move on from Christine, so
Yeah, which
it's helping the arc, but also it ruined the perfect cliffhanger ending. That I was
Yeah.
like, what a good hard cut. And Benedict Cumberbatch's face in that scene is so intense. It's like, whoa.
Like he was in
I can
pain.
believe that guy's growing an eye. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So I guess final thoughts, like Doctor Strange 2.
Final thoughts. Look, I had a really great time
I
with
loved
it.
it.
I think you should see it. I do have very glaring issues. However,
Yeah, you wanted a completely different movie.
Yeah, literally.
not completely. I just feel like there were some creative decisions
You
that I
wanted to
disagree
change
with.
Wanda. You wanted to change.
But I liked everything with Wanda. I just wish we got more building up to that because I think the character
I
deserves
liked
that. So
the movie. I loved it. I can't wait to rewatch it when it comes out on 4K
Yeah.
on Blu-ray.
visually, it's going to be
And
an
I can't wait to
incredible
see
release.
it in IMAX enhanced on Disney Plus.
Yep.
I liked it. If you really like Sam Raimi's style, I would say even if you're not into Marvel, just watch it because it reeks of Sam Raimi.
That's it. So, what do you guys think? please, if you're watching on YouTube, like I said, comment below. Who do you agree with here? You think I'm completely in the wrong?
Why is Travis wrong all the time?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I don't know. What do you think? Anyway, so please let us know, and don't forget to check out our Reference Point podcast on all the major social media platforms. Follow the OAR TV YouTube channel as well. There's some amazing content put out by a bunch of really, really creative and talented artists out there. So yeah, I think it's a good place to wrap.
And guys, don't forget to support your local comic book stores.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.